This Labor Day, say goodbye to spills, stains, and overpriced furniture with WashableSofas.com, featuring Anabay, the only machine washable sofa inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly pricing. Sofas start at just $6.99, making it the perfect time to upgrade your space. Anabay's pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and interchangeable slipcovers are made with high-performance fabric built for real life. You'll love the cloud-like comfort of hypoallergenic, high-resilience foam that never needs fluffing, and a durable steel frame that stands the test of time. With modular pieces, you can rearrange anytime. It's a sofa that adapts to your life. Now through Labor Day, get up to 60% off site-wide at WashableSofas.com. Every order comes with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping, no restocking fees, every penny back. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. KFI AM 640, it is The Conway Show. All right, we're preempting Rich DeMura and the Rich on Tech Show, and we're going to be live here until midnight. Not me, but there'll be somebody here. It'll be me, then Saavedra. He'll come in and talk about the best places to eat while LA's burning. And then I believe Tiffany Hopkins. I believe Tiffany's coming on. And I believe who's on? Who comes on after Neil? Tiffany Hobbs? Okay, Tiffany Hobbs. And then it's Michael Monks. Okay, but Michael Monks has showed up early. And he's downtown, ready to go. And he's with us. Monks, how you, bub? Is he there? He's not there. All right. All right. We don't have Monks. We were going to have Monks, but now we don't have Monks. All right. Oh, he just dropped out. Okay. All right. We'll pick him up. There's a lot going on in downtown Los Angeles. A lot going around in the entire country. I got up early and started watching the West Coast protests. With a lot of angry people out there on the streets in Florida. And the people in Florida were pissed off because they have a really aggressive chief of police or sheriff down in parts of Florida where he said, if you throw anything at the cops, we'll kill you. And a lot of people, it really offended a lot of people. But guess what? Nobody's thrown anything at the cops in Florida. So maybe it happens to work. So that's a major story going on, all the protests around the country. And downtown Los Angeles, there are thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people gathering around downtown L.A., and this is how the protest should have been in the first place. It shouldn't have been violent. It shouldn't have been, people going down there and lighting cars on fire and breaking glass and throwing fireworks at cops. It should have been like this the entire time, and the message would have gotten out there. Mayor Bass spoke earlier this morning, and it was the same old, protest peacefully and get ICE out of Los Angeles. And nobody, all those reporters who are sitting in that room with her, all of them, not one reporter said, hey, when Barack Obama deported 2.5 million people, weren't you in Congress? Nobody's asked that of her. Nobody. And I don't know if the local stations are doing this on purpose just to irritate everybody, but there's not a single TV station. There's 10,000 people downtown, and there's not a single TV station covering it locally here. So if you want to be the first, Channel 5, Channel 9, 2, 4, 7, 11, we will send you the KFI audience if you're first. We'll keep looking around to see who's going to cover this first. And if you do, we'll send you a massive KFI audience. All right, Michael Monks is downtown Los Angeles. He lives downtown L.A., and he joins us. How you, bub?
Doing well.
I'm doing well. It's quite a crowd.
Down here, I'm on Broadway between 1st and 2nd Streets, and, it's a lot of people.
What would you estimate? I bet there's 10,000 people there.
It's hard to get a full estimation because it is around several city blocks. I've tried to find myself in a little nook here so that I could call in. It does seem to be strangely organized. I don't want to say disorganized because I don't know what their plan is.
Right.
But whatever the case may be, multiple streets are flooded with people. I can assure you that there's not much in the way of traffic control. So if you are planning to drive and use surface streets in the Civic Center area of LA where all the government buildings are, boy, do you have it made today, because you're going to be stuck. And you might as well get out and enjoy some of the festivities down here because, I mean, people are walking, cars are driving. I do see some military uniforms. I'm not sure if that's Marines or National Guard that might be down here. There are federal buildings, so these are the folks who have been called out to protect those buildings. But so far, not a lot in the way of agitators. You know, this is like we talked about Conway yesterday.
Right.
This is a different crowd for this type of protest. This is more general or I should say anti-Donald Trump sentiment. Although you do see a lot of immigration-related messaging and a lot of Mexican flags.
You know, I was watching TV earlier, and there was a news crew downtown Los Angeles, and they asked a guy, one of the Marines, they said, hey, how long you been in L.A.? And he said, what do you mean? He goes, well, you know, part of the Marines. He said, no, I'm a homeless guy. I just picked this up at the secondhand store. So...
I think I know the guy you're talking about. I might have passed him on the way here.
Yeah, I think that's where we are.
While there is this significant crowd here in the Civic Center as part of the No Kings marches and protests that are taking place across Southern California and across the country today, the rest of downtown, it's not looking good, man. I walked through the Fashion District this morning. It is a beautiful Saturday in downtown Los Angeles, and the Fashion District would usually be popping on a day like this. But not only are there no customers, there's no shops for customers. I would say almost 90% of those shops that you see on the area of Los Angeles Street, those gates were shut down. And the street vendors almost entirely gone today. So that speaks to maybe the level of uncertainty around folks' immigration status and what types of threats they feel that they might be facing right now. But also the impact of the curfew and the messaging coming out of what downtown's condition is right now, and folks not coming down, and maybe some of these merchants saying it's not worth it either way. But it is a complete ghost town. The irony is this is the side of downtown that would usually be dead on the weekends, because this is where the government is, and they don't work on the weekends.
Right.
Everything is, around Pershing Square and the Fashion District, Bunker Hill. That's where you'll see some activity. But everything on that side of downtown, in the Fashion District in particular, it's just very quiet.
You know, Michael Monks is with us. Are you near City Hall? I saw the big, huge crowd in Grand Park there in front of City Hall.
I'm between Grand Park and City Hall right now. I am close to I'm right next to the old Los Angeles Times building.
Okay.
That big, beautiful building they used to work out of here downtown. And, this is where a march was taking place on Broadway in the middle of the street. But again, there are cars that are still making their way down the street, too. So there's just a strange, lax enforcement right now. I don't know what is permitted, what is not, where people should feel safe if they're coming down. There are merchants, selling American flags, Mexican flags in the middle of the street as cars are driving by, too. But there's not much in the way of traffic control right now.
Right. But Monks, when you look at the crowd, and you know who I'm talking about because you've seen them downtown, are the agitators there? Are there 35-year-old guys with a backpack and a skateboard around?
No, not yet. And I told you this yesterday, Conway, the type of, and I'm not even talking about the looters. That's sort of a different element, like the criminals that come down to take advantage of the situation to steal. But the more militant protesters, the ones that really want to be in the cops' faces, the ones that want to destroy things, this is not their crowd. In fact, they're quite antagonistic on social media towards this group, just as they were a few months ago when the same organizers put together those hands-off rallies as it relates to Medicare, Medicaid cuts that have been in the federal budget.
Right. Okay. So, now what's the temperature, physical temperature down there? Because that's going to have some bearing on how crazy this gets.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day down here.
Okay.
It's clear skies, just about a few clouds up there, sun shining down, and it's warm, but we've got that regular downtown breeze we get because of the buildings. It's really quite nice. That's what I mean about how strange it is to see it so quiet in some parts that would typically be popping on a day like this.
I saw a woman probably in her early 70s that had a shirt on. It was a pink shirt with black writing, and it said "not dead yet," and then a picture of a bullet, and then Donald Trump underneath it. And I thought a couple of things. One, why is she so angry at 73? And two, what grandkids or kids let her out of the house with that shirt on?
Well, I'll have to find her and ask her.
It's an assassination shirt.
Yeah, I mean, to say that the temperature is high for some folks, regardless of your political ideology, yeah, of course, you're going to see some pretty offensive things. I think the messaging down here, for the most part, is just typical anti-Trump stuff, not calling for his death, maybe just calling for a new president, not necessarily saying send him to hell or whatever.
Right, okay.
This is mostly run-of-the-mill, pro-Democrat, pro-liberal, pro-immigration, pro-diversity sort of messaging that you're seeing here.
What is the ratio of people with and without Starbucks cups?
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find an open Starbucks right now, if I'm being honest. So, You're seeing a lot of people pass out water. I mean, there's a lot of people here just giving out free water and trying to keep people's spirits up and keep them hydrated. And, but so far, the white woman with the Starbucks that I expected to see, not here.
Really? Okay. All right, Monks, you're going to be on tonight, 7 to 9 p.m. Is that correct?
I'll be on from 7 to 9. That's absolutely right.
You're the best.
So I'll have a full recap of what I see tonight, and I'll be around if you need me again.
Okay, we'll check in if things get hairy.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, be safe, bub. All right, there he goes.
Thanks,
Michael Monks tonight, 7 to 9 p.m. So we're going to have somebody on live all day long. So this will be great, but channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11. Nobody is on this on TV. Nobody. None of the local stations have brought a crew in to cover the biggest day of the year in downtown Los Angeles. I find that astonishing. I mean, I drove a mile and a third to get here to a Burbank studio on a Saturday when I'm usually at the horse track. But we'll continue here. No Kings protest underway across the nation, and we're going to have it live till 2 o'clock. That's when Neil Savader comes.
This Labor Day, say goodbye to spills, stains, and overpriced furniture with WashableSofas.com. Featuring Bay, the only machine washable sofa inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly pricing. Sofas start at just $6.99, making it the perfect time to upgrade your space. Bay's pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and interchangeable slipcovers are made with high-performance fabric built for real life. You'll love the cloud-like comfort of hypoallergenic, high-resilience foam that never needs fluffing, and a durable steel frame that stands the test of time. With modular pieces, you can rearrange anytime. It's a sofa that adapts to your life. Now through Labor Day, get up to 60% off site-wide at WashableSofas.com. Every order comes with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping, no restocking fees, every penny back. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
If anything crazy goes on, we'll bring that to you. We have some live audio and some live video from downtown Los Angeles. Let me see what they're doing here. Fox 11 is on. They have a feed. It's not on TV. It's online. If you want to check it out online, they have it online. But let's see if, and I hope there's no swearing
Coming
here.
Back.
This is just literally raw footage of Fox 11. And it doesn't look like I think they're starting to give some speeches in downtown LA. So if anything interesting happens or pops up, we'll bring that to you. But it looks like just a lot of people milling around, a lot of skateboards, a lot of backpacks, a lot of signs, a lot of flags, and it looks like 10,000 people or more. I mean, it's a lot of people. All right, Jason Sulaco, who used to produce the show here right on KFI, came in today. You have a big history in Minnesota. You were born in Minnesota, raised in Minnesota?
I went there one time for vacation for 3 days.
Okay. All right, but something radical happened up in Minnesota. There was a shooting where a politician got killed, a politician and her husband, I believe.
Right. Minnesota Democratic state lawmaker and her husband were killed, along with and two of her colleagues, I believe, were also injured.
Oh, that's horrible.
I think it's a colleague and his spouse. So and the suspect, according to Governor Tim Walz, is a former, he's an appointee of Tim Walz.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And his name is Vance Luther Bolter. And I guess he posed as a police officer when he shot State Senator John Hoffman and his wife in their Champlin, Minnesota home early Saturday, leaving them injured before moving on to former Democratic House Speaker Melissa Hortman's house, where he is believed to have killed her and her husband.
Oh, my God. So it's a Democrat killing Democrats?
According to law enforcement sources, he did have a No Kings protest flyers in the back of his vehicle, and there are pictures of them that the AP has just published.
Okay, here's Tim Walz, the presser that happened literally, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours ago about this horrible story coming out of Minnesota.
We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination. Our state lost a great leader, and I lost a dearest of friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. She woke up every day determined to make this state a better place. She is irreplaceable, and we've been missed by so many. Minnesota's thoughts and prayers are with her family, her loved ones, her children, and her parents. My prayers also go out to State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, who were each shot multiple times. The Hoffmans are out of surgery at this time and receiving care, and we are cautiously optimistic they will survive this assassination attempt.
Man, you always think of Minnesota and the Midwest as a very simple place to live where no violence, no crazy people. And yet you keep getting these stories coming out of Minnesota. Here's a timeline. If you missed this story today, here's a timeline of what happened this morning in Minnesota.
About 2 a.m. this morning, there was an original call in the city of Champlin where there was an individual that had shot Senator Hoffman and his wife. Police responded to that location. They were dealing with that and working through that process overnight. And then later on, at approximately 3:35, that another call came in when it was officers proactively checking because they knew of the incident that occurred, and they were going to check on Speaker Hortman at that time, at which time Brooklyn Park police officers encountered the individual who immediately fired at them, and they exchanged gunfire, and then the individual was able to escape during that exchange of gunfire.
All right, so what this guy did is he souped up his car to look like a cop car, and he had a police uniform on, and so the victims just assumed it was a local police officer coming to the door and coming to the house.
At the residence in Champlin, there was life-saving measures that were provided there. Both individuals were transported, as was previously noted, and they both received surgeries for their injuries at the hospital. And their conditions are at this time, both those individuals, Senator Hoffman and his wife, are both alive at this time, but they suffered gunshot wounds and are obviously in a difficult situation. But we're cautiously optimistic that they will continue to improve. At this time, it is a very active scene still, as you've seen. The Brooklyn Park Police Department, along with other members, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, State Patrol, FBI, BC, and many others are actively engaged in a manhunt for the individual that we believe is responsible for this. And so we'll be sharing the identity with those individuals as this progresses, but I'm going to caution you, I know there's going to be a ton of interest in this. We're not at the position we can do that as we're actively searching for that individual. Right now, just as noted, we have teams. Hennepin County Sheriff's Office in Champlin are working at the scene there that occurred there. And then we are also, as we're stabilizing this between Brooklyn Park, working on the homicide investigation with Brooklyn Park Police, the BCA.
Yeah, and so the suspect has been identified, and I believe are they still looking for him? I think they are. Yeah.
So we understand.
Yeah, they are still looking for him. And he was appointed by the Democratic governor before Walz to the Workforce Development Council in 2016. That was Mark Dayton. That was the governor then.
So he must have known all these people personally.
Yeah, and then he was reappointed by Walz in in 2019. And according to the New York Post, despite being a Democratic aide, voting records show that he is registered as a Republican.
He is. Okay. All right. Here is the suspect who's been identified by KARE. I think it's Channel 11 in Minnesota.
So we understand AP is now naming a suspect in this case. They're saying it was 57-year-old Vance Bolter. And again, that is coming from the AP, relying on their sources. And NBC and the AP are two sources that we usually feel comfortable sharing what they're reporting as vetted to a level that is accurate.
And to be transparent, typically we do not name suspects, and there's a reason for that. It's because they have not yet been charged in a court of law, which shows evidence behind what they may or may not have done. In this case, sometimes you do name a suspect if there is an active emergency and that person is potentially dangerous. We don't know if that person is the exact person, but the Associated Press is naming that 57-year-old as the suspect. And so we are comfortable saying that name as this possibility.
Got a 10-minute explanation on when we, name suspects and when we don't.
But we just want to be super transparent with you as to why we do, and sometimes we do not, name persons of interest, perhaps suspects in shootings, until we know through multiple confirmations who that person is.
All right.
The Associated Press has these standards as well.
Okay.
We trust that. And that's what we're going with.
Literally a 3-minute explanation on policy in the newsroom.
Right, and we know this is a name that has been, I'm on my phone trying to see if any officials have commented on this yet on social media. We know that this name, Vance Bolter, has been circulating online as other people have been, including the New York Post. That's where I first saw a tweet that said, this is the suspect. But again, we don't normally go with...
They're doing it again. And they're going to explain to you again how cautious they are about naming us. This guy murdered at least 2 people, possibly 4 people. They know who he is. And every news station is walking on feathers and not wanting to name the guy.
But again, we don't normally go with New York Post reporting. We will rely on AP or NBC.
Yep. Okay, again, it's newsroom policy that they're going over. For the majority of the story is newsroom policy and not the a-hole who killed these people.
New York Post reporting, we will rely on AP or NBC before we report things. So this name has been out there for about an hour or so, a 57-year-old white man named Vance Bolter. We are working on getting an image of him to share with you on the screen. But again, officers described the suspect as a white man with dark hair. He was wearing tactical gear.
Okay. All right. So they're looking for that guy. Hopefully they find him soon. When we come back, we'll have some audio from, I believe, ABC 7 is down there. I know there's a lot of the online news that's on there, but still nothing on TV. Nobody has decided to bring a crew in to cover this on TV when there's 10,000 people in downtown LA. I don't know if that's on purpose, so they don't fan the flames. I don't know. But we're going to get by, and we're going to, as soon as a news station does pop up, we'll tell you which one so you can see the audio, or you can hear the audio and check out the visual. But we're going to be on here live, covering all of it. Michael Monks is downtown L.A. We got Neil Saavedra coming in live today, and we're going to cover it all, at least until 9, 10 o'clock tonight, live, because there's a lot of people downtown L.A., and it has the potential for really blowing up. It hasn't yet, but there's a lot of people downtown and a lot of anger. And so that is a powder.
This Labor Day, say goodbye to spills, stains, and overpriced furniture with WashableSofas.com. Featuring Bay, the only machine washable sofa inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly pricing. Sofas start at just $6.99, making it the perfect time to upgrade your space. Bay's pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and interchangeable slipcovers are made with high-performance fabric built for real life. You'll love the cloud-like comfort of hypoallergenic, high-resilience foam that never needs fluffing, and a durable steel frame that stands the test of time. With modular pieces, you can rearrange anytime. It's a sofa that adapts to your life. Now through Labor Day, get up to 60% off site-wide at WashableSofas.com. Every order comes with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping, no restocking fees, every penny back. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Keg, potentially.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Today we're keeping an eye on Minnesota and the murders that happened very early this morning, politically charged, and also keep an eye on downtown Los Angeles. And earlier, Mayor Bass spoke about downtown LA and asked people to please protest peacefully. It's only worked when there's a curfew. The curfew came in and everybody sort of straightened up for a while. But tonight will be the big night. You know, there's going to be, 10,000, 12,000 people in downtown LA. A lot of them are going to stick around. I know Hamlet's in town. This is not the Hamlet crew. This is the skateboarders and backpackers. So not guys holding Hamlet tickets. But let's find out what Mayor Bass had to say this morning.
My message to Angelenos is to stay safe, stay alert, and follow guidance from law enforcement officers who will be located throughout the city. We will not allow violence, vandalism, or other dangerous behavior. So don't even try it in the city today. You will be held accountable to the full extent of the law. Protest peacefully. The eyes of the world are on us, Los Angeles. Let's make sure that we are not defined by the actions of Washington. Let's show the world what Los Angeles, California, and our nation is about. Freedom, the First Amendment, peace and unity, freedom, and our Constitution.
All right. Doubled up on freedom, I believe.
I don't know if are they appealing to the 35-year-old incel with a backpack?
No.
Hey, we want to look good for the rest of the country. I'm going to,
right,
put that brick down and put down the graffiti.
Yeah, but do you remember when Steckler, we both worked with a guy named Doug Steckler. He always had this great saying that the most dangerous people in the world are people with nothing to lose. And that's who you have downtown. So if you have nothing to lose, a speech by the mayor is not going to do anything. It's blanking into the wind,
Yeah, I would even argue that it might inspire them to do it, to be more passionate about it, because look at that. They're affecting what the rest of the nation thinks about LA. If we break the social construct and riot.
And ultimately, that's what a lot of those people want to do, though. They want to get rid of capitalism. They want socialism, and they think they can affect that change. And if that change does happen, it has to happen like this, because power is never taken peacefully, and they know that. And so they think in their minds, if they can ratchet it up long enough and hard enough and stop ICE from coming in, that's a victory for them. And they'll have one victory after another, and that's the way they think they can take over the country. And so you're right. I think it might have the opposite effect. Here's downtown Los Angeles. Thousands attending the No Kings Day. It was started by a company called 5051. 50 states, 50 protests, one nation. So it's 5051, which is very, very close to 5150. If you're a police officer, you know what that means. 5150 is cop talk for crazy. And that's when they take you to Bellevue and drop you off at the hospital, and you have 3 days without your shoelaces. That's what a 5150 is. So 5051, awfully close to that. All right, here's ABC 7. They have a reporter down on the ground in downtown Los Angeles. Let's find out what's going on down there.
The NoKings.org website, the group that has organized this particular protest, I believe this one ends around 2 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. But what happens when people come out here is that there's also spontaneous moments of demonstration, and we know that we've seen that throughout the week. So
okay, a couple of things. One, it's not going to end at 2. I don't know. This is not a luncheon that people are at. And two, there are tens of thousands of people in downtown LA. I've never seen that many people. Even, look, for a Lakers parade, you'll get that many people. For Dodgers, this might even be more than the Rams had when they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Exclusively exclusive to what we're seeing today. So it's likely people are going to be out here all day and possibly all night. The crowd, of course, begins to dissipate as it gets later, but we're expecting to see people out here in LA, out in Glendale, out in Pasadena, in different parts of Southern California.
I'm also curious, Annabelle, has anyone mentioned last weekend's violence? And we've heard in the lead up to these, the focus on keeping things peaceful. They don't want the narrative stolen from them with some of the problems we saw last week. Has that come up in any of your discussions today?
You know, I was talking with a photographer during one of our earlier live streams, and he was showing me the pictures that he had documented when he was out here, I think just yesterday, and really capturing what we've seen throughout the last week, right? Those moments of tension, moments of vandalism, perhaps. But it is important to say that you know, these are pockets within downtown Los Angeles, and when you look at the really big picture, these have largely been very peaceful protests. When this one started, we heard music, we heard drums, people were actually dancing as they were marching. And so no one has specifically spoken to the details of what they've seen over the last few days, but just reporting in the last week, we're hearing from a lot of community members who are urging not just for peaceful demonstrations, but also wanting people to see kind of the holistic picture of what's happening on the ground, right? And so we're seeing a little bit of that.
Okay, so this is in downtown LA, right on Broadway, and it looks like 1st or 2nd Street. I can't tell you what the cross street is there. And it is 100% peaceful. There are no idiots so far breaking windows, spray painting, and throwing crap at cops. Nothing yet. What do you see down?
Well, you know,
downtown,
it's just
Bob?
interesting that you know, all the George Soros funding for this group, you know, this 50-51,
right?
That they would, you know, they would try to differentiate themselves because, you know, they're always talking about the Trump to the 2025 plan, whatever, right? The Heritage Foundation plan, right? And this is so confusing with messaging. Like, when you think about it, like how is this working for them? Like, it's a bad name. It sounds like 5150, and then it's a confusion with the Trump Heritage Foundation document. I don't know where they went on this. I mean, and no one, have you noticed with all these corporate news agencies, they're not saying it's billionaire funded No Kings protest, but they are funded by the Soros organization. And he, by the way, he married Anthony Weiner's ex.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, but you pointed this out earlier. You know, in Protesting 101, you never put no in the title of your protest because that sounds like it's been called off. You know, the No Kings parade. Oh, it's not happening today? It said No Kings. Oh, Christ, I'm going to stay home. There's nothing going on. You know, no, whatever. You can't put no in the title of the march, because 30% of the people think it's been called off. All right, we got to take a break here. We're keeping an eye on downtown LA, maybe 10,000 people or more, and so far very peaceful. And we're going to be here live all day long. It'll be me, Saavedro, Tiffany coming up, Michael coming up. We are going to be on all the way at least till 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, covering anything that's going on downtown LA and around the Southern California. There's a march that happened that started at noon in Woodland Hills, another one in Huntington Beach, another one in Laguna. There are far fewer in Orange County than there are in L.A., and maybe everyone from Orange County came up to L.A. to protest. That's possible. But we'll check in with all the other protests going on and see where if any of them get hot, because right now it looks like everyone's behaving. But the temperature is hot in the valley, and that could lead to a guy bumping into another and then off to the races. It's Conway Show live on a special Saturday, covering everything downtown Los Angeles and around the country.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Today we are on live to cover everything downtown Los Angeles. Our old producer Jason Sulaco's flown in to hang out with us for a while and get all of the information for you. Now everybody's wondering about this curfew in downtown LA. You know, there's a Dodger game tonight that starts at 7. The curfew starts at 8, but you'll be able to get on the Dodger bus and drive, and I think that drops you off at the Union Station, and then you can get a train home or a light rail or whatever you do. But if you've ever seen, there's a long line for that bus at the end of at the end of a game. You may want to drive today. Then you can drive north. If you drive north out of the stadium, you're fine. Because the curfew line, where they say it's 1 square mile, which it isn't, it's closer to 3 square miles, you can leave out of the north. You can go north and you can go west and south out of that stadium. You just can't go east. If you go east, you'll go right into the curfew zone. And the curfew zone is the 110 on the west, the 5 on the north, the 10 on the south, and the 5 and 10 on the east, which is sort of complicated, but it's all of downtown Los Angeles, all of it. But let's find out the curfew and how we did on night number 4. Yeah.
Overnight, though, relatively quiet. The city crediting the curfews for a reduction in the amount of arrests that we've seen really day over day, especially in relation to the amount of assaults and looting that we've seen across the city. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, Marines on the ground, a show of force at the Wilshire Federal Building. That's where they took over guard duty. They said they had to make one detention yesterday after a person crossed a federal checkpoint. Meanwhile, the Trump administration may be putting a pause in the number of federal raids that are targeting the farm working and hospitality businesses because those industries so heavily rely on immigrant labor. Of course, the National Guard's still on the ground here after a ruling requiring the Trump administration to relinquish the troops was overturned. There's a hearing on that coming up on Tuesday, but really the city bracing for more of these No King rallies. There's some 200 expected across the state of California alone. The mayor here in Los Angeles saying the curfew will remain intact over the weekend and really until these raids end.
All right, the curfew sticks around. Jason Salako, our ex-producer, also in studio. I've been looking at this. Yeah, you're right. George Soros is funding a lot of these.
I mean, and these folks, they love experts. They love, specialists. And so you'd think they would have done focus groups on the name and on this number thing, right? To see what's going to be most effective.
Right.
And they came up with No Kings 50-51.
Yeah, and 50-51, it's supposed to be 50 states, 50 protests, 1 nation. But 51-50 is short for crazy. And you would think, you're right, maybe somebody had no idea. But, it makes sense, though, that crew that was putting this together would have no idea any kind of cop language because they don't know any cops.
Right, they don't, and they think, oh, this sounds good. Oh, this looks good. Like let's do that. Look, I like that number. It looks nice.
And it's
it's a pun. Oh, 50-50. Well,
right, and it's very close to 51-50. And then the No King sounds like no protest and no parade and nothing going on because you can't stick no into the protest. All right, here's thousands turn out, and now they're on the move in downtown Los Angeles. Let me bring up Channel 7 here and see if there's any audio and where we're going. Let me clank up the audio here. It looks like they're on the move here. All right, there's probably thousands of people. They're saying thousands of people. I'll bet it's closer to 10,000 people. And they're marching southbound right now through the streets of L.A., and it looks like they're passing City Hall. And I don't know what the destination is. I don't know if they're all... they're going in 2 different or 3 different directions here. I don't know if a lot of them are going to the federal building to protest there. That's where you'll run into the Marines that are out there, and also the LAPD has a huge presence. Plus, there are 14 other municipalities that supplied cops today, and the sheriff's department. So everybody is out there, and they're marching. It looks like now they're marching southbound. And there's at least 5, 6, 7, maybe 10,000 people out there. A lot of people. Right by the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, going southbound, and it looks like they're headed towards the federal building. And so we'll keep an eye on that, but there's a ton of people. A lot of them, the biggest group of people right now are near City Hall at Grand Park, but it looks like the march is headed towards the federal buildings. And if they get there, and which it looks like they're very close, that's where a confrontation might happen. There's still traffic going through that intersection, which is unbelievable because there's people spilled out onto the street, almost halfway through the street, and you still have traffic going by at 40, 50 miles an hour, which is extremely dangerous. Highway Patrol has blocked, I think, all the entrances and all the exits on the 101 freeway. So if you're thinking about going downtown LA and you're thinking the 101 and the 110 is going to be jammed, it's the exact opposite. It looks like COVID traffic on the 101 freeway. There is nobody on that freeway. But I guarantee you that if they do try to get on that freeway, that's when the S is going to hit the fan. And it's hot outside. People are irritated. So this does have the potential of looking like last weekend. And we're going to keep an eye on it for you. It's Conway Show. I'm in for another hour, and then Neil Saavedra takes over. We'll keep an eye on where this march is going. They're right now in front of the LA Times building, which is where Michael Monks is. And we'll check back with him when we come back and find out the destination, what the goal is here, and where everybody's on the move. Right now, they're at the LA Times building, which is right across the street from the brand new police headquarters, LAPD headquarters. And that area has got to be 4,000 or 5,000 people there. You got your big baby Trump that they're dragging through the streets, and a big, huge Constitution they're dragging down the streets as well. And we'll keep an eye. We'll come back. Monks will be with us. We'll find out what the hell's going on downtown.
Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
This Labor Day, say goodbye to spills, stains, and overpriced furniture with WashableSofas.com. Featuring Anabay, the only machine washable sofa inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly pricing. Sofas start at just $6.99, making it the perfect time to upgrade your space. Anabay's pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and interchangeable slipcovers are made with high-performance fabric built for real life. You'll love the cloud-like comfort of hypoallergenic, high-resilience foam that never needs fluffing, and a durable steel frame that stands the test of time. With modular pieces, you can rearrange anytime. It's a sofa that adapts to your life. Now through Labor Day, get up to 60% off site-wide at WashableSofas.com. Every order comes with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping, no restocking fees, every penny back. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.